Alright, guys, and we are back. Welcome back. And this is going to be the first installment into our under construction series here on the Corner Flag Talk podcast. So, how this is going to work, we're going to start with Manchester United. As you all can see, the Keel is here as the United representative. The Keel, how are you going?
Ross.
Bro,
I
I
asked,
kid
how
you
are
not.
you?
Bro, I kid you not. You just went like Tron for like a moment and then the call went silent. You heard absolutely nothing and then the call just went silent. So I assume you're talking to me. I'm great, bro. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. So yeah, guys, we're gonna start with United, and without further ado, I'm gonna pop the rules here, and we're gonna go through it really quickly so you guys will understand how this is going to work. So positions for recruitment are decided in advance. So what we did is that we asked the most intelligent United fan that we know, also known as the Keel, what are the four positions that he thinks is the positions of most in need. The team is then tasked with finding one player which they are best believe are suited for these roles. There's also a punt section where each person can choose any player under 20 mil they would like to sign. As we go through position by position, each person will provide their choice and a brief summary before we enter the debate portion. The debate portion shouldn't last more than like 3 to 5 minutes. After this, each person on the team would vote who is the best candidate. Note a participant cannot vote for their own choice. By the end, we would have CFT's choice of window for the club chosen. So by the end of this, when we don't vote, we would have what CFT suggests as United's transfer window. So before we move forward, anybody has any questions?
Mhm.
No, great. Nikhil, before we start,
Hmm.
how has the season been for you, bro?
Honestly, this season for me has been great because I'm trying my best to stay very far away from watching United. But if you're talking about like actually on the pitch, I mean, I did have an absolutely terrible season. No, I know that Ten Hag would have gotten sacked and replacement with Amorim and stuff like that. Um, Club wanting something new, but I think the direction Amorim has gone so far, it looking a little sketchy. Now, mind you, I'm not the type of fan to just be like, hey, sack him. That ain't making no sense. We've already been bad. We didn't get relegated, so nothing. The worst thing that could happen did happen, so it's fine. He gets a transfer window to actually go and bring in players, and we'll see where we go from it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a new direction to have a coach who has less points per game than Derby County in 0708. That is definitely
That's crazy.
a new direction. But okay, cool. Without further ado, Nikhil, why don't I ask you, what position would you like us to start with? Which
Oh, I'd
position do you think
love to
is the
start.
most in need?
I'd love to start goalkeeper here. I'd love to start goalkeeper. Just because of the panel.
Actually, so I should introduce this, right, guys? So the four positions I would choose beforehand is goalkeeper, striker, center mid, and a right wing. Now, Nikhil, please correct me if I'm wrong. You said right wing with the knowledge of that, some of United's best football came with Ahmad playing as the right wing back. So that's
Correct.
kind of where your plan would be filmed, right?
Correct.
Nice, cool. So, goalkeeper, who would like to go first? What about the man who has been the biggest advocate of the hair being scapegoated?
That's
Brandon!
crazy, bro. So
Well,
crazy.
well, well.
Oh, okay, wait. So this is how this is gonna go, right? Each person is gonna say their candidate, just say where they are right now, whatever. Are we gonna go all around? After that, the floor is open. I will time us, and then after that, we'll do the voting. All right. So Brandon, just who it is, eh? Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go for I think United should try and sign Unai Simon. I think that's a great signing for them. I think he's very good with his feet. He's a decent shot stopper. I think he could be much better, but I think at a place like United, I think he could actually grow into a bigger role. Um, I mean, if I really had my way, I would keep Onana. I think Onana is fantastic. I think Onana is one of the best, goalkeepers of the world. I don't know why they're trying to get rid of him. I'm entertained every week, bro. But
Correct.
but on a serious note, yeah, bro, Unai Simon. I think he's Spain's number one goalkeeper. I think that United need players like that. I think they need players who have that leadership in different positions on the pitch. And I think he would be a good step in the right direction. I think he would also be good for Amarim and getting his ideas across as well. So yeah, he would for me would be first option.
Cool. I would really like if we keep the intros a little shorter. The man don't argue his point.
Sorry.
That's okay. Daniel, who was your choice for goalkeeper for United?
Okay, so when I was analyzing goalkeepers, the profile of keeper that I think we should go for is like, a taller guy. Onana is not that tall. Someone that's good at shot stopping, because basically everything that Onana is not, because the fans going to need something, a better fresher. So I went height, shot stopping, and obviously being able to play out of the back, he needs to have a comfortable mid-range and obviously short range for how they like to play. And the guy that I selected was Vanya Milinkovic-Savic. He's a giant, and we could talk a bit
That's
more about him later.
huge. Yeah. Nice.
They finally get the Milinkovic-Savic.
Yes, come on.
Just the wrong one. And Nikhil, who was your choice? Let me get mine first.
My turn, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, cool. Well, you're gonna realize that team and the players I selected is around the kind of funds United is going to have, given that we are broke. And my option is Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez is
Sorry, go ahead.
a good goalkeeper, and as of right now, we don't have the funds to go and be buying this and this and this and this and this. Emi Martinez is primed to leave Aston Villa, and I think we should hop on that.
We reported, yeah.
Given that we can't spend everywhere. Emi is a very good goalkeeper, and he's also a character that United need in the dressing room right now.
I like it. So he threw it in.
No, he said broke, and then he was like, Emmy.
My
The best
choice.
keeper anywhere, he said, bro.
Yeah.
He said the best keeper anywhere, bro.
My,
Who should be signed, bro? Keeper, the best keeper anywhere, bro.
my choice.
Oh my lord!
A keeper with Man United and a little bit of corruption behind the scenes is what better way than to bring somebody who is from a club that is also under your current ownership's purview.
John, don't say
And
it, please.
That is Chelsea Academy product Marcin Bulka from OGC Nice. I don't know who you thought I was going to say, but he had another strong year with OGC Nice as they finished in European spots. And as Patrick said, looking for somebody opposite of Onana, right? This guy is huge. He's 6'5". Like he is, when I say huge, he's not like tall like Chad in the dog. He is tall and so, big presence in the box, very strong at claiming crosses and commanding his area. So, we now, since people waste half the time in the introductions, we're now going to have 3 minutes for people to argue why their choice is the best one. So,
I will not argue my point.
yeah, here was my reasoning too, right? Like, all joke aside, Tim Ratcliffe owns both OGC Nissan and has United. That it shouldn't be that hard for them to broker some kind of deal between the two of them. He is also led the save percentages in Liga. Up until December, he had the most expected goals prevented in Europe as well. And he was one of the highest value keepers under 25 in the world. So that was the big driver points. And also, like, I tried my best, except for one position, not to go for anybody over 28 because United have to get younger but also have quality. Because too often it has been like at either end of the spectrum. Okay, and players who have like 2 more years left in their prime, 1 more year left in their prime, or go too young and then overburden players too early. Bolka is 25 years of age. He has been started for 3 years now. And which is so crazy. I remember Bulka playing against Arsenal in a preseason game. But yeah, so that was my reasoning behind it, and I don't think it's gonna cost as much. Transfer market had him with 28 million. I don't think it's gonna cost that much more than that. So yeah.
All right, that's what's up. What do we do now? Do we ask you questions or do we just...
No, everybody had to say, well, why their one could be better. Why is that you opted for this one instead?
Okay. Is that our order or do we just go?
No, anybody. So yeah, you could go ahead.
All right, I'll go. Look, I think obviously whatever keeper comes needs to be, be able to fit into Amarim's system. That's most important because that's how it is with any club. If you're gonna sign any player, they need to be able to suit the system. That's just, we're not talking rocket science here, and I don't think I'm breaking news by saying that. However, some like also if you're going to make a signing, then that needs to address the issues that are currently present. And the issues that are present right now, one of the main ones is that you can shoot at Onana. You don't know if you're going to save it, if you're going to fumble under his hands. Maybe he will just decide to raise his leg and it just goes under. Nobody knows what's going to happen when you shoot at Onana, specifically from range, right? So I wanted to bring in a keeper that's, most capable at dealing with shots from range, especially also when you look at classic three back systems that turn into five back systems. They are typically designed to force shots from outrange. Good examples are like Conte when he played at Chelsea. Most shots came from at least 18 yards out. Vanya Milinkovic-Savic is huge. So if you all think back to comparisons between Edouard Mendy, it should work the same way, except where Edouard Mendy failed with his feet, Vanya has, one of the highest successful passes made for goalkeeper in the league. And then from what John said, with Bulka having the best save percentage in the league, well, Vanya has the best save percentage in all of Europe right now, currently. Not about December, but currently has the best save percentage. So this is a guy that you can rely on, but he's also huge. And he saves penalties, something that United actually concede a lot of this season. I don't think Onana might have saved one at the start of the season, and that was it. But most importantly, too, Vanya is comfortable with four-back systems and five-back systems. So that slides into Amarim's, system. And then most importantly, too, when you look at the passes that Onana has had to make this season, it's not been long-range passes, not like what he was making at Inter, They brought him in for his distribution, but changed his whole distribution. Now he has to go short and mid-range. And if you look at Vanya's last 5 games, that's the type of passes that he makes as well. He doesn't go long. So for all reasons, I'm like, yeah, this guy has to make the most sense. And he's 28, into his prime, if not, slightly before his prime, because goalkeepers' primes are different.
You have any
And
idea,
finally,
like,
how much he
oh,
might
sorry,
cost? I can't see.
that and how long he have left on his contract, if you have any
I
idea.
don't know how long he has left on his contract, but he's been at Torino for a while. So
Okay.
unless he recently got renewed, it can't be that much. And I can't see him being expensive because he's not a name that you hear about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's why I think like it had to be him. The other guy I thought about
That's
was
not
Alex
solid
Ramiro.
argument.
No one brought up Ramiro, but I think he was better, so I put him.
Nice. Tequil Brandon, anyone of you? Tequil, why don't go now? Why you think Emmy Martinez, the Yashin Award winner, is likely to go to 16th place Manchester Reds?
You see, the thing is, right, it's not about what I think going to happen, it's what Manchester United needs to happen. You see, because Manchester United right now lacks character. We lack character. United will concede one goal and then just capitulate. But Manchester United need somebody in the dressing room that has cojones, somebody, who could actually lift the team, somebody who could actually make them want to play football. Because that sometimes they don't look like they want to be there. Manchester United need people in the dressing room that actually lift the spirits of the team instead of Onana talking like if he's this big goalkeeper and then making music to the back. They need somebody who will instill confidence in the team to actually go forward and play football. That is what Manchester United needs. And I know I mentioned Price, right? The reason why I said Price at the point in time was he kind of names people who want to call for goalkeeper. They're going to call some fancy name like Unai Simon. No, you want to like $80 million. No, we don't have that. We don't have that. We need to go with somebody old, but somebody good. Emi Martinez is proven. He's a very good goalkeeper, and he fits what Manchester needs right now.
So let me ask you this, right? How much do you think Emmy Martinez is going to cost?
Honestly, I cannot see Emi Martinez being over. Given that it seems like if it's like a mutual departure of both of them, I can't see Emmy being more than $40 million, really and truly. I could be very wrong with that. But I can't see a 32-year-old like Oledo wants anymore. And it seems like he's not sure if he's gonna stay being more than $40 million. And I feel that's decent amount price for a goalkeeper at his age, at his stature, the best goalkeeper in the world.
Brandon, anything you want to say?
No, I just want to know when we have the punt section.
Punt
No, I had to change my answer.
from Emmy Martinez.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go. I want to make everybody go first at the same at different minutes, but I'll make note who goes first at this point, right?
Uh-huh.
Remember, you can't vote for your own choice. So,
Right.
Nikhil, why don't you go first? Who would you vote for?
Honestly, I will vote for Simon because
You're not wrong, Simon!
that's just a
One for
fact.
Simon.
Like,
Right, okay. No, all right. That's real hypocrisy, yeah? But all right. Brandon, you're going for.
I really want to see Milinkovic Savic actually end up at Man United. So I'm gonna go for Daniel.
That could
I
be-
think the memes will be great.
Patrick, who you going for?
It's close, and I'll just give him a quick train of thought, less than 10 seconds. I like Bulka, but he's a bit inexperienced. I think that's gonna be a problem. And I like
Yeah.
Simon, but budgetary restrictions. I think the keel hit the nail on the head with that. And I love Emmy Martinez, but
Come
my
on.
friend, stop it!
Come on.
Just absolutely stop it.
oh my lord.
So, is experience more important than budget? And I don't think if you're gonna go with a signing, can't be budget. The budget restrictions that can't be like the forefront. Not for a club like United. So I'm gonna have to go with Simon. But it was close, John. It was close for me.
Yes.
Wait, so I gotta go for Milinkovic, right? Because like
Well, we
I
had our
thought
paper scissors.
Patrick's argument was absolutely fantastic, though. Like I
Appreciate
think
it.
he come really good, and
I didn't even know
I-
he was leading in all those stats. I didn't even know that.
yeah, bro.
Crazy, right?
And
Yeah.
I do think that he does really combat a lot of the things that we are seeing that United have issue with. And as experience, a team that feels like it needs to start from the bottom up.
Mhm.
All right, 2-all, you really got a rock paper scissors though. Best out of 3. 1-all, you had to say it.
Okay.
All right.
We go in rock,
Rock.
paper, scissors, shoot, eh?
Yeah, shoot. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Rock, paper,
scissors.
Wait,
shoot.
wait. There's a lag. No, there's a lag on my end. I saw what he was doing before I started going. So I would have
Oh, they
been
want
able
to
to
close
see.
all your eyes and do it.
All right, fair.
No.
Close all
You
your
have
eyes.
paper?
Both of
Gotta
them
close your
close
eyes.
your
Gotta close your eyes.
Do you have paper with you right now?
You want that can flip a coin, eh? That is also.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, now we'll do the coin.
Okay, do the coin.
We at your mercy.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Imagine this is how the United boardroom is. We flipping our coin to see which one we sign.
You know, it's funnily enough. Don't put it past them.
All right.
John, you have to go
1-all.
find our coin, bro. I have our coin right
I haven't.
now. Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
All right. So 1-all, they call it. Who's birds and who's numbers?
Numbers.
Okay, nice.
All right, numbers is Unai Simon. Unai Simon wins.
Hey,
let's go.
80 million, let's go.
All
Oh,
right.
Can
no,
I put forward the punt now? Or is that
Nah, it's at the end. You have to do it at the end.
Okay.
Nice, cool. Next
Alright,
up, well, you won, Brandon. So why don't you choose the next position and give us your candidate one time?
I like it.
Okay. I think the next position I'll go for is centre mid, and this one I had to really think about because I had to think about if United need a defensively minded player or if they need a more attacking player or what type of player they kind of actually do need. So I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but I really did end up with Wharton. I think Wharton would be a totally great signing for United. I know it's another one of those budgetary problems, but it's just like it just seems.
we going
it
on
seems-
to run Jim Ratcliffe into the ground.
yeah. The man done lost $7 million or whatever because he lost. But yeah, I think Wharton would be a great signing for United.
Cool.
From
Nice.
Palace.
Patrick, why don't you go next?
Okay, similar to last time, profile that I selected was a more all-rounded midfielder. I think that's kind of how a double pivot works. Both players need to be comfortable defensively, but also going forward. And it's a true double pivot with Amarim. I think athleticism is super important. Guys like what you call his face, who's that? Right, when Bruno played there, he showed why athleticism is still important, like still needed in that role. Someone else came to mind, Casemiro. Um, and yeah, defensively sound, and then a good passing range because that's another thing that. So I'm basically trying to recreate what Bruno does, but then add athleticism. Because I think Bruno at the 8 has been really good. I don't want to ramble. The guy that I selected was Edison from what you call it, Atalanta, and we could get into it later.
All right.
Everybody
This
there?
quick.
Cool. Everybody there, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And the sun is here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nice.
True.
So I got a little loud there. Okay.
Oh,
The key before you answer, I want to give mine because just in case you see it, so it look like you copy me.
wow.
Uh, I also was thinking about somebody all around it. I also was thinking that depending on how players progress next season, I wanted somebody who could play both roles because I do agree with what Patrick is saying. Both players have to be comfortable doing a bit of everything, right? But I wanted somebody who would be comfortable whether he was asked to be the more defensive minded one and also has a wide range of passing. Funny enough, there's somebody who he signed last year for a new club and they don't seem to want anything to do with him. And he has Prem experience. So bring me Douglas Luiz back from Juventus to United. So, yeah, the queue.
Interesting. So, the person I selected has, funnily enough, already been selected in the options of the trio already, honestly.
You
Um,
see?
but I'm going to explain it anyway. So, I believe Manchester United lacks a specific type of player in midfield right now. I believe Manchester United is missing a metronome, a player that is very comfortable in being the deepest player and being able to give it off to somebody else. I feel like everybody in our midfield, but for maybe Mainu, are chaos ballers, and Mainu is not the most comfortable being the sixth, especially in our double pivot in Manchester United. So I think Adam Watson would be a very good option in midfield for United.
Nice.
Right. So only because I know this already. Patrick, why is it that Wharton is not the ideal candidate for Manchester United?
Yeah. Really not a Wharton fan when it comes to him going to United. This is why I was okay. My process when it came to doing this, I took it as a nice little assignment to get myself into scouting. Right. I mean, I've been dabbling before, but and anyway, a nice little assignment. I went on. Wharton was on my shortlist. He was. My shortlist consisted of Wharton, Douglas Luiz, Zubomendi, Edison. Okay, and then the reason that I kicked Wharton off the shortlist was because he's not defensively sound, which is crazy for a number 6. So when I dig deeper into his stats, he has a sub 40% tackle success rate, which is very poor for a number 6. He's not more than 6 feet tall, which did not meet my physical requirements for that United midfield. Because when I look at them, they lose a lot of aerial duels. And then Wharton specifically is really, really bad in the air. He was sub 35% when it comes to aerial duels won. Now, what he gives on the ball is excellent. And if United could somehow, maybe sign another midfielder or switch from a 3-5 whatever to, a single pivot and then runners around Wharton, something like that could work. But I think Wharton is a very specific midfielder. He's very good at breaking lines. Every time that I see him play for Palace, he does that extremely well. But for everything that he has taken the team forward, he lacks defensively, physical capabilities and physical restrictions as well. So I felt like Wharton would be a hard one to work. In my opinion, I felt he would be hard to make work, given his defensive liabilities. That's what I personally felt.
Yeah.
But now this is where you guys could change my
But it's
mind.
interesting you said Zubimendi because Zubimendi was actually one of my answers until he went to Arsenal. Kind of sad we did this but kind of good
Yeah.
we did it in the end because he's no longer an option, right? I think he
Yeah.
would have been the better option. Even though I don't think there's
Yeah.
a lot between him and Wharton defensively, but I think he would have been a better one. I think he's more experienced.
Yeah.
But just to keep in line with the young thing, I think like him, I think what he gives United is a lot of variation. Like, I think they could play a lot differently depending on who they pair him with, whether it's in a midfield two or a three or however Amarim decides to play on the day. Because I mean, even though Amarim is very strict on his system, I've seen like so many times during the season where he tries to make a lot of decisions in the midfield. Because most of the times that's where he's losing the battle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I feel like they need a player to get some of those players ahead of them away a lot better and quicker. Even though they're gonna miss it anyway. But you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
yeah, Wharton for me was just a straight. I think it's a straightforward signing, but those never work out in the end. But yeah,
So
Somehow.
part of my logic also was like, in some of this, look, United might be in the Champions League, right? But there's going to still be at some point some financial cap on all what we're asking here, right? And I think Douglas Lewis is somebody they could probably even get on loan, depending on what the circumstances is. Because, like I said, he went the whole year not being used, at least mostly on the Mota. I'm not really too sure since he got sacked, right? But in a way, he had a torrid first year. He's accustomed to the Premier League. And he is, of my four signings, three of them are 25 years old. To add that level of experience in their career already, there's somebody who knows the Premier League and that he is already accustomed to the pace side. So it won't be somebody that like who would be coming from foreign needing to adapt. The other thing I was thinking too is that like we also want somebody who could adapt to whether it is that he's playing next to Bruno or if he's playing next to Gatti, for example, and that he has to be the more progressive one. And I did this for almost all the players that I was talking about, but I won't bring this up for all of them because it's kind of come like cheating, right? But like I had compared both Rodri the year that he played in the treble. Why that specific year? Don't watch my like why that specific year? Because he played with KDB that year and he was asked to be at his most reserved passing wise and defensively because other players had the more expansive passing responsibility. As compared to if you all watch this for him the year after, he literally taken up like the whole circle now. Like it's actually amazing his radars that year. But like I see a lot here of what Douglas Luiz offered. The last time he was asked to play as the deepest in midfield to some of what Rodri offered City that year. Obviously these things has to be adjustable possession. Also this year, Douglas Luiz was on the Unai first season, so there was still a lot of learning and adapting going on. But I think in terms of like lower budget solutions, there's a lot to offer with somebody like Douglas Luiz coming in, and he should want a way. You probably would want an easy solution to him. So, yeah. Nikhil, yeah, anything you want to add?
No, honestly, I think as what I would mention before, Watson to me ticks the boxes of somebody being able to keep the ball. 'Cause I feel like a lot of United problems in trying to advance ball is that nobody seems comfortable collecting the ball under pressure. And the way how Amarin plays is that you're going to be collecting the ball under pressure a lot. I think Adam Morton, especially he accustomed to the Premier League, I think Manchester United kind of need to shy away from a million foreign signings. It have a lot of good players in the league, so that's why I went Adam Morton.
Before we wrap up with this, Patrick, I know I had you talk about why it is you went away from Wharton, but why you think Edison is the one to bring in from foreign?
Well, again, this gonna be every time I ask for this question, I'm probably gonna start the same way, right? When you want to bring a player to a club, you need to first think about how are they going to fit into the system. That's to me, that's number one. And Amarim has been so rigid with his system that I think it's such a easy question to answer. Okay, like in terms of profile, like exactly what is he looking for in his center mids? They act as a true double pivot, which means that either one can end up going and the other holds, which means that whoever we're bringing has to be, capable at both ends of the field, literally both, and they have to be physical enough to deal with the physicality that comes with supporting the attack and then getting back to be that recovering defender, or the mindset to be able to hold, because you're going to find yourself literally doing both. Amarim does not pair a more defensive with a more attacking. That just doesn't happen. Bruno sometimes pairs with Casemiro, and Casemiro might end up scoring the goal while Bruno holds, and it doesn't make any sense. But we've literally seen it. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, Because we saw
And
it against Richmond.
Edison plays in that's a song right now, and
So
like in a
Edison
double pivot.
currently plays in a 3-4-3 as part of the double pivot for a successful one. Yeah, because Atalanta has, I mean, I would say that the system has been successful. When it comes to his, just overall stats, I mean, I thought that United, I mentioned this before, I thought that United, they suffer when it comes to winning aerial duels. If not Casemiro, no one is able to do it. Edison is someone that has won just shy of 60% of his aerial duels. For a midfielder,
Yeah,
that's quite good, especially for someone like him, because a lot of those aerial duels come in the opposition's box as well. So it's slightly deflated, if you get where I'm coming from. Um, and then in terms of tackle success rate, sub 70%. Like it's really not bad for someone that's classified as an all and out 8. But most importantly for me, this is
yeah.
someone that showed he can score goals, he can play the final ball. Here's my question, right, guys? What's the difference between Adam Wharton and Bruno Fernandes based on our description so far? And question for the keel: would you be surprised to find out that Bruno Fernandes, like if we checked and we found out Bruno Fernandes had a higher tackle success rate than Adam Wharton, would that be surprising to you?
No, it would be surprising to me because to me, and this will go down a whole different rabbit hole. But I
Yeah.
personally believe Bruno is one of the most athletic players on earth, like playing football, because Bruno does everything. Yes, he's one of the best creators, but Bruno does be up and on the pitch all the time. So it wouldn't surprise me to know that hey, Bruno tackling much more than Watson. Um,
Yeah.
I think to answer your original question, I think they are a bit different in the sense of I know that probably I think the rules will be a little bit more defined, which is kind of contrasting to what you believe Edison will bring to the team. Um, Bruno would most likely be more advanced and what would most likely sit more. I'm not sure how it would translate because I tend to agree to the extent where um they could kind of interchange given that both of them would be proficient in both aspects of um, what we would need in the defending and attack. But I personally think that, again, United need a player that is kind of different from the type that we have right now. Because, for all intents and purposes, we could use Casemiro, we could use Ugarte to do all those things. Because to me, that's what they're doing right now. We need a different type of player. Yes,
Yeah.
they don't do it properly. I don't think they do it to the best of their ability, not to their
Yeah.
ability, but the best
Yeah.
in how it fits in the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's the same player we're trying to bring in, and I personally are trying
Yeah.
to bring a
Okay.
different type of
Yeah. Fair
player
enough.
than what we have right now, just so for variety, because a season is very long.
That's true. Fair enough. I mean, I hear that. I think that's a different lens than I looked at
Um,
it at, and that's fair.
just because you all brought it up for argument's sake. So this is Bruno versus Adam Wharton. Bruno is in blue.
Could you zoom? Cause I
I
can't.
love this man, bro.
What I can do is download it real fast
Okay, that's
and
fine. Don't
just
don't don't bother with that. How about you just call it out? Who has like who in those areas that Bruno significantly beat Wharton, like that bottom left. What is that? Oh, headers one. That's headers one.
Bro, Bruno is
yeah.
him. Bro. That is, well, don't stop me.
So Wharton don't win headers, is what we're saying. Cause what is
Apparently.
that? Okay, fair enough. And then this area that Wharton significantly outshines Bruno is what is that?
Falls.
Is
False.
Falls.
interceptions adjusted for possessions.
Oh, okay,
Um
okay, okay.
Okay.
That's the top left,
and
right? Interceptions adjusted for
yeah,
possession.
Bruno actually winning
Okay,
in tackles
but
too.
but
'Cause-
here's my thing as well, right? And it
Sure.
kind of leans into what the keel is saying. I think the best version of Bruno does not exist in what he currently is playing under
Being
Amrin right
used.
now. I think
Yeah.
Adam Wharton gives you the best version of Bruno Fernandes, and
Okay.
because it allows you to do something that you don't currently have, and you could change it depending on what it is, who it is you have to play. And I also want to add that we while I understand the both of you all saying your things, we gotta remember that these fellas they have the potential to go into the Champions League next season, right? So
Mhm.
I am under the
Mhm.
impression that they're going into the Champions League next season, right?
Right.
So I think you have to make a big step, and you need quality around the team. And I think Adam, that's why for me Adam Wharton would be the pick for me.
Okay.
Cool. I think great arguments all
Yeah.
around. I really
Yeah,
do think that.
definitely. It's a good
And
debate.
obviously y'all could vote for Watson because you'll still be voting for somebody else. But I have to ask anyway, Brandon, what are you voting for?
Who you said again, John?
Douglas Luiz. Formerly
That
of
one is
Villa.
actually like I can't vote for myself. I just out of was it what I'm looking for? Good conscience. I'll pick
Conscience.
Douglas Luiz because that's a good shout though. Actually, I didn't even consider Douglas Luiz. That's good.
Appreciate that. Brandon, why don't I mean Dekil, sorry, why don't you go next? You can't
Um,
go water there. It's like
nah,
you
I
can
feel out of good conscience. I just want to pick water because like, it come like I pick it for myself. It just I feel like cheating. So, out of the options, honestly, I would go Edison, and I tell you, I'll pick Edison because I personally do like short players in my midfield.
Mm.
That might seem very, very superficial in a way because there are many great short players, but especially in a double pivot, Douglas Luiz don't. Especially okay, think about this, right? Bruno and Douglas Luiz in the midfield. That don't strike me with any kind of confidence. I'm being very honest,
Yeah.
because I don't know. So I know Edison is a physical specimen. So I
He
feel
is.
much safer with putting Edison in my midfield if I was to pick between the two.
Nice. Patrick, we're going for.
Tight. Tight again. Cause I was like so close minded to going straight to Douglas Luiz. Cause he's literally on my shortlist dog.
Mhm.
But somebody said something about water and that I thought was good, which is the variety part. He doesn't have to play all the games, yeah? Unless you buy him for 100 mil, then that's
Yeah,
different. But
yeah.
he doesn't have to play all the games. He could be specialist. I was, I think I was tactically close-minded as well because I was thinking like, yo, how is it going to work if he always sits at a double pivot? So then he's going to be left-sided centre mid. Obviously, he's left-footed. So what happens when they progress the ball on the left side? Then what? You tell me the right-sided centre mid need to go over to the left side and support. And I mean, no, you don't have to do it like that. The cams could play free roles, which means they could both support, and the right-sided centre mid could pick one of the cam spots with late runs. I don't want to get too tactical, but it's possible. It's possible. And then one of these centre backs could come and make a box midfield there, and that could be nice. And it's a good structure. Boxes are good structures. It could be good. It could work. It actually could work. It could. I don't know if it would, but it could. So I'm torn. This is very hard. I don't know.
Man, flip a coin.
I think it's tactically easier to go Douglas Luiz. I'm gonna go with him then. Yeah. At the last second, just yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this now while it would be easier for me to just say Wharton and that way my pick just
You win,
wins,
you win,
right?
you win. Yeah.
I
I say
generally
go
was
for
going
it.
to go for Edison because again, I do really think that you argued it extremely well.
Flip that
And
coin.
I do like the idea of
Flip
like
the
because
coin.
it's similar system, it is easy to translate across. Now, what I did tell Patrick before though,
Uh huh.
I can't see Edison unless United in the Champions League. Then fair enough. I think all doors open if United in the Champions League. But
Hmm.
like Edison and Atalanta have a good thing going. But let me see. Let me
That's
see.
true.
Anyways,
You did not
That
say
real
who
good
is.
flip there, though.
He
oh,
didn't
you know
even
why
say
that
who
didn't
is
work?
who.
I don't think that's why it didn't work. Patrick, choose heads or tails. Well, birds or birds or numbers.
He's a numbers guy.
Right. So numbers is Edison. Just
Did you actually catch it?
nope.
You know what happened just now? It land on numbers. He going again.
John tampering with the results there. Though. We love it.
Literally.
All right.
Wait. Wait. Hold on. That flip out to the floor and up on your hat? Nah. We're good out there, boy.
Corruption.
Nice.
Corruption.
Great.
This one.
What does that say? Patrick, numbers.
Numbers.
Hey, birds on. It's actually birds.
Douglas
And
Luiz, yes.
Douglas Luiz.
The kill, you had to hold that and like it, yes?
Oh no.
I've lost on penalties twice.
Yeah, he
Twice.
lost.
Let's make it 3 for 3.
All
Let's
right,
make it 3
so
for 3.
I will go first now, and mine is part of the reason too. I'm going to go first because I also know somebody else have this already. So I'm gonna go strike, right? And I'm gonna start off with. Here's the problem with this, right? Is that because we take so damn long to do this episode, we are going to talk about who we had shortlisted already. You know?
I'm
And
about
the
to lose
thing
on
is,
penalties 3 times.
when we,
Just wait.
when we both went to top of this, we were both like, dog, I had him on my list.
My lord.
So again, adding more experience to United, right? And some, but then no, all right, we're done here.
No, you have to
Is
do it.
Guirassy from Dortmund. And he had obviously an absolutely amazing campaign. And when we look at United in the striker position, or ironically, it does look like they're kind of close to getting Liam Delap in real life. But currently, they're both strikers are 22 and under. At least I would like to say Hoyland is under 22. But they are very young. Neither
And
of
that's 22
them
goals
have
in his Man career, yeah.
Oh,
correct.
man.
And I don't think, and if I'm not mistaken, neither of them have 15 plus goals in any league campaign in any of the top 5 leagues that they have been a part of. However, Guirassy has just obliterated the Champions League, broke Lewandowski's Dortmund record for in the Champions League, and had a great league campaign as well. He has experience, and when we also, I will spare you all from. Wait, I'm not supposed to be saying all this. This is for after, right? Patrick, who did you have, mate?
Victor Osimhen. Nah, kidding. Hey, again, when I looked at this, and this is gonna sound weird because it sounds like I tried to get the impossible striker. Profile I thought was most importantly going for a traditional number 9 because they make chances for their striker. Strikers just don't score, which is why another thing for me was obviously being clinical. I have tall down here as well because that is a big one for me with any striker that comes into this system. Need to be able to win aerial duels. That ball is in the air a lot for United. And then maybe second most important in my criteria is experience in counter-attacking systems. Because United are a counter-attacking team. And obviously the striker plays a really big part in that. So having the experience there is important. I went to Ciro Guirassy.
The kill we went for.
Who you went for?
Grassy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kill.
For my pick, might come across like low hanging fruit.
Moro Icardi.
No. Why would I? No. No, no. Please, no. This is not 2017. I went very low hanging fruit, but I feel like low hanging fruit is the kind of pick that United need to advance. I went with Gyökeres. I feel like it don't have I don't need to be that explanatory on why I picked Gyökeres.
Yeah, all right, cool. Best rate. All right, stop right there. We'll get back to you later. Oh, Brandon.
so I have two very outside shouts. I feel like you're gonna watch me real
That
when
is
I say
cheating,
this.
eh? That is cheating, eh? You have
What?
to go with one.
No, I'm going to go with one, but there's two very outside shots. I'm going to go with Ferran Torres. I think that'd be quite interesting.
Okay. I mean, I see it. I see it.
I see it as well. So
Who's the other one?
who's the other one though?
Solot.
Yeah.
Solot. Hey, all right, fair
To
enough.
start for United, Alexander Solot.
So
A good
there
swap
was-
with Hoyland, and that'd be easy.
I like it. Yeah.
So should I bother Ollie with pulling up our graphic?
Sure.
Yeah, let me do it now. What time make it anyway?
Will
So
help my
let me
case.
just pull it up.
Send the thing.
Right. So part of my logic here when I was looking for players was when was the last time United had a striker that they felt like they were really, really happy with, right? And so I went looking for, and the key I wanted to watch the year, that specific year of Edison Cavani, where that he was
I
complete
love Cavani.
all-round centre forward play. And when did also Bruno have his, what was to me his best year? I really don't care what the stats say otherwise, but in terms of like his best output here was having a striker who understood what it was to have a relationship where both benefited really well, even if it meant that he didn't do all the goal scoring. And
Mhm.
I think Girassi, yes, he has all these records, but I think that part of his play that ended up being kind of underrated was also like how he could also bring others into play, also create his own shots. I want to look at how he compared against the last time that United fans were content with a striker. Yeah, bro, it stacked up really, really well. Now, as you can see, he doesn't stack up as well from a defensive point of view to try and win the ball high up and stuff. But yeah, we just can't bypass that.
But do
But
United press? Do United press? Does he need to? Does he need to be a monster to
well,
press?
what I would say is that Dortmund. So this
Uh,
comes from this season too, right? And Dortmund do press, but he might not be the one to win the ball in the press. And so because of that, there's stuff in the data that won't show up before him now.
Right.
Because like if is not the one to win the tackle to win the interception, but he helps close on the space, it don't have a stat to reflect that part.
Correct. But United don't even press, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
they don't press this type of version, but the sporting system that we saw is one that does be very counter pressing, when they
Yeah.
do lose the ball. And we would assume that is where he would want United to go eventually, to be that type of system. You would assume it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear it.
Um, I want to hear. Well, you see, I don't want to ask you because then you're gonna be added to the
It
same
don't make sense.
player.
It don't make sense
So
to
I'll
ask
come
me.
back to you. But I want to hear about Ferran Torres though. That was very much out there, but I do like it. He just came off his most productive season in his career, and most of it came from being a bit part player. Then when he was asked to step up, as he has been, he did step up. So why it is you think that this is the fit for him to come back to Manchester too?
Yeah, that is a factor. I think that he would have a lot to prove. Going to United as a former City player. Um, I think like as the years have gone by, I think people forget that I think Ferran is only 25, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
is.
Like
Yeah.
that is quite young for a player who has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of experience. I think he fits a lot to what Amarim would like from his striker. And one of the things I could never take away from Ferran Torres is that he's just very, very effective. And
Yeah.
I think that United need effective players rather than good players because I think they have good players, but I mean the moments in that they really need to make the decision, especially after the season, bro. I think Ferran has done really well this season to make a case for him. And I also thinking of it from the point of view that I don't think they would pay a lot for him. I
Mm.
can't see. I honestly can't see him being more than 40 mil if I'm being honest with you.
Mm-hmm. That's I really like it, and I also like it from a versatility point of view because let me say that one of the other two underperforming strikers does actually catch something. He does then also add as like the supporting strikers, attacking midfielders, as we also see that. Yeah, I like that. Why do you think that Gyökeres? I wonder why, bro. I wonder why you think
Nah,
Gyökeres
no.
will
You
work.
see, the thing is, I'm for the most part meticulous, and I do just say because of a fancy name. Kind of to Patrick point. I wanted
You
a
just want to see that
striker.
celebration at Old Trafford. Eh? You just want to see
Nah,
that.
nah, nah. No, I was genuinely thinking about it. What kind of striker Manchester United need? And along the lines of what Patrick was saying, the height and the let's say for somewhat the athleticism of a striker is needed for Manchester United. I'll just get two of the options I was thinking about as well before I kind of fall into Gyökeres. It was Shescu and it was Patrick Schick. Um, both of them, the three of them kind of have the same mold of the kind of striker that I think United would need. But I said Gyökeres because I mean we know the average price that he's going to be around is going to be around $55 million, and he's
Yeah,
already played for Amarim. Amarim trusts him. Amarim kind of made him into the household name right now in football that he is. So why not go back there? somebody that you safe, you could rely on in your system. He knows what to do. And you're already in 17th place. You need people who could get the ball rolling immediately. And I think Gurkesh is the best option based on what I was thinking about.
Fair enough. Pat, you have anything you want to add at all?
To Girassi, um, the only thing I would say with Girassi is that he's not a bad blend of a traditional nine, but someone that could link play as well. So it gives you
Yeah.
that, um, tactical versatility because he can either be the guy that's facilitating, which could help someone like Ahmad. Because I mean, I hope that Ahmad plays on the wing next season. He's really good there. Anyway, yeah,
If anybody doesn't have anything else to add, we could go straight into voting.
yeah,
So I asked two of you all to go first already. So I would go first this time. And I do like the argument proposed by Brandon. And so my vote would go towards Ferran Torres. So that's one for Torres. Um Brandon, why don't you go next then? Who are you going for?
I will go Gyökeres. I think that would be quite the shake-up, especially for the league. I'd like to see that happen.
And the keel, who are you going for?
I'll go for Grassi. I think he'd be a real good, really, really good option actually for United.
And Patek. Everyone get one vote,
yeah.
so
I
we
know,
had a
right?
coin flip with this time.
Nope. I'm gonna say who wins. Yeah, I think it's Gyökeres. Um, Simply because I think they need a striker that can score, and I've seen Peran. He's well improved this season, but he's still missing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's still not cold in front of goal. And for me, I think like, bro, I think Ferran is a much better player than people give him credit for. But I think his next step needs to be like if he's gonna step away from Barcelona, he needs to step into for his own sake, yeah, which I know is not what we're arguing. He needs to step into a system or like an environment that is designed for him to thrive. And I don't think going to United, it could be so bad for him almost.
Volatile.
Because like if the first 5 games and he's missing goals just like the Hoylands and them, it's probably wraps for him.
Fair enough. And well, okay, so far the window that we have for United is Gyökeres coming in and strike Unai Simon in goal, and in midfield we have Douglas Luiz. And for what it's worth, that is three different people have three different picks in so far. So and now Patrick, we'll start with you then. What was your choice at right wing?
That's the most
My,
interesting one, I feel.
yeah. Again, I hope nobody have these guys because I
Please
hope
don't
we
have
could go
mine. I
back
have two.
to,
Please don't have either of them.
okay, but well I'm going with one, so hopefully you have and
I,
hopefully you have anyway, profile wise, when I was, doing my scouting report. You need someone fast. I think he has to be fast. That for me was like number one. Clinical, I think, is important too because modeling off of what Ahmad was able to do. A lot of goals came from that right wing position this season. A lot of goals came from the left wing position too, or a lot of chances, sorry, came from the left wing. Garnacho is not the best finisher. Anyway, creative would be good, and then most important as well. Sorry, not most important. Important as well. Uh, Inside forward experience. What I mean by that is a winger that's comfortable playing in those half spaces or in those, closer to the striker area as well. They call them inside forwards now. Let's just think like, how Salah was playing 2018-19, that type of thing, right? Okay, cool. The guy that I went with is Jared Bowen, and hopefully I get to fight my case later down the line. Yeah,
Brandon.
I am so glad he said Bruin because I have his teammate, Mohamed Kudus.
nice.
The keel.
I went with a player that and now again caveat, the reason I picked my player is because I'm under the belief that Ahmad is playing right wing back because I believe
Right.
um United was playing our best, not just scoring, we were playing our best football when Ahmad was playing right wing back.
Please.
I
don't
went
do
with
Bowen.
Brian Mbeumo.
Ah, nice. Okay, not Bowen.
I went with Brian Mbeumo.
This is the best one I tell it. This is the best one.
Yeah.
John, what you gonna tell me there, boy?
Dog, John, if
Max-
you have somebody that we have, you need to pick
Maximo
somebody to start right now.
Well, that
Ilinovic
is the
from
problem,
Georgia.
right? So, like, I had two options, and two, let's say the two. So I tried to feel like if I could pull one out at this
You can. He's on my short list. I'm gonna message you.
I have an
I'm
extra
telling
one
you what
too,
to
so I mean,
Yeah, he's on my short list. I'm messaging you, and you just decide what
You all say no, I have extra ones, and I'm telling you, there's the first, like when John messaged me to come on the call, he was the only person I could think about first. Like, I want him. I don't want anybody else. I want him. But I'll explain
Hear
after.
what? Hear what? I know who I'll go for. And
Okay.
I don't know if the truth is I don't fully believe in this bag and
Bukayo Saka.
committed any.
Yes, please. Yes. Cancel him with more. I want soccer.
I'm
Budgetary reasons.
not committed. Is there anybody higher up? No, alright. No, I'm committed. Kulusevski. And I'll explain why once we
I like
open
it.
those.
Okay.
John,
We
John
all
has
for,
spent
all
the
for.
entire season talking about why Kulusevski should play attacking midfield century.
No, but the
to
thing is,
saying
right?
that United need him. It's a right way.
No,
No,
but the
it
thing
makes
is,
sense
right?
because it's like comes.
It comes like an attacking midfield position, right? And part of now the thing is, I do agree that I did want somebody with a bit more pace, and I know that Kulusevski isn't that per se, right? However, Kulusevski, best 12 months in England, came playing as the inside right forward under Conte in a 3-back system,
Correct.
right? That's one. Two, his creative metrics consistently for wingers is one of the best. And while so in my world, right, Bruno is going to play in one of the deeper ones, but I still think Bruno at his best does score, right? You're gonna have Garnacho who don't know how to pass. You're gonna have Rashford in some capacity because they won't manage to sell him off. And then I am thinking that you're gonna have Girassi, right? All these men are goal scorers, right? And while I hear Bowen and Kudos and them, and I totally hear those reasons, Kulusevski adds what I think is a consistent creator for them to build around going forward. And I think that he creates off both feet. I think like I've watched and for another episode, I went real deep into watching Kulusevski tapes recently. I generally think he might be both footed. Like how good he is off both feet and passing off both feet, especially in the half space. And I think that consistent creative presence could do United a whole ton of good. Because right now, where United is a lot of needing Garnacho and Bruno and whoever it is to score screamers or Maguire to the that striker and run into the box, right? We talk about they need a consistent line of chances so that it doesn't take somebody doing the most spectacular to always score. So, yeah. Anybody?
But bro, if they make Spurs weaker, they might finish above them. Next season.
True.
And what better way than to beat them in the final and then take one of them
Take
players?
Kulusevski. Hold on, but Daniel, who was your second option? I'm curious.
Oh, I had a couple, but my second option was Brian Shaky.
Oh my god, that was my second one as well. Okay, that was my second one as well. Okay.
I really like that though. But yeah, come on guys. Let me hear all you.
Oh, question. So if I outside shot, if I said like Yamal, would I have just one, or we all not?
That ain't happening, bro.
Nah, we wasn't. I don't accepting any argument for players that I don't.
I come
think.
like,
All right, here what let me go for Kudus, right? Especially over all the fact that he's had a this is contrasting to what Daniel is going to say because these two players we're talking about have had seasons on
Two real
either
different
end of the
years.
spectrums, right?
Yeah.
I think Kudus has had a very disappointing season. A lot of people had West Ham finishing in the top half of the table. Forget
Virgil.
Virgil, yeah. Just forget like even anything higher than that, right?
Damn,
So I think his stock is a little bit lower right now, which is why I think they could get him at a reasonable price. And the other thing I think that United need is, and Dekila said it earlier on, they need a lot of character. And I think Kudus is a player who has a lot of character. I feel like he is a player who could take them forward at at will. If he wanted to, he could dribble through an entire side if he wanted to. I think he made good decisions in the final third most of the time. I feel like he also is. I think he would be a good marketing signing as well for United. So I could see that happening, and I think it would. I think he would pair really well with Ahmad as well. Like I don't. I think Kudus also has the tenacity to run back and defend if he has to. I think he could cover Ahmad if he ever needed to. So yeah, that for me that's an easy one. Kudus.
Patrick, why specifically you went with Bowen over Mbuemo despite Mbuemo having the best season of his
Yeah.
career?
Oh, I'll add to Kudus real quick. He also has
Sure.
experience playing number 10. Anyway, that's it. Why Bowen over Mbumo? Because I truly believe that an inside forward is what United needs. So someone that's more comfortable in that inside channel as opposed to out wide. And if you go, I mean, you can go eye test, you can go heat maps, you can even go like where most of his passes are received from, and then where his additional pass after that originates from. And Burmo is a natural winger. He plays with chalk on his feet. You know what I mean? And we can't have that at United. I'm not saying he can't learn to play on the inside, but you can't have that at United because the Ahmad and the other guy, they hold the width. So he can't afford to start wide and then come in. He's gonna have to start inside. And I think that's gonna be tough for Mbomo to adapt to, considering his last 4 seasons has been as a outside forward. Whereas opposed to Bowen, if you look at his heat maps, and then where his passes are typically like where he receives passes, super important as well. Shows you where his starting position is. He's always very close to the striker in that half space, like not even the KDB pocket, but more inside than that. And then, I mean, another big reason for Bowen for me is just pure consistency, man. This is a guy that has scored more than 10 goals in 4 of his last seasons. Like literally this season, the season before, the season before that, and the season before that, without breaks. Yeah, so there wasn't even a blip season inside of there, despite West Ham finishing where they have this season and last season. Yeah, and then the season before that they were good. But 2 seasons of poor performances from West Ham, Bowen is still putting up numbers. To me, that screams the type of player that United need, because this is a guy that he don't care how the team is functioning. He will do his part. He will make goals, make chances. Everyone else needs to figure it out. That's fine. And he's also very fit. I think this is, I actually think this is a tap in. Yeah? This is truly the player that the profile at least that I believe United need. Because again, how many guys do United take punts on and they fail? Like how many guys within the squad right now? I could think of at least 5 that United have take punts on. 2 midfielders I could think of, the 2 strikers. You know, you take punts on them, they fail. Okay, why don't you get someone who has been consistent for the last 4 seasons in the same league that you play for, in a similar system? But because now they play, 3-4-3. They do that right now. So in a similar system, and what you call it, and for a team that he overperforms where the team itself is at. So I mean, not to this United, but it is what it is, right? They 16th. So come on, guys. So, yeah, I think it's a tap in 16th. What is it lower than that? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think that Andy Kill.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think you want to add. For what is word though? Again, so well argued, and you didn't ask for it, but helping anyway. So this has been and Buemo's pass marks for the season so far. Please note for the next episodes I'm going for,
Doug.
you are all able to
Interesting.
ask for the same sort of data. So as you can see, like how wide he is, as compared to, I couldn't like do comparison with the size of the before, right?
That's fine.
As compared to if I pull up Bowen, I think you notice that like a lot more of the blue goes more inside, and there's less heaviness on the right side. I really wish I could have pulled them up right next to each other.
The
there's
deep blue is
there's
incomplete passes.
sorry, I meant like the deeper colors is less concentrated to the right line, touch line, and more narrow
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
Could you have
That
a
was
Kudus as well? I'm just curious.
sure, no problem.
Ooh, that
The
was
kid
nice.
could go ahead and talk while I do Kudus.
So my argument is kind of layered. So for one, um, in multiple iterations of Amarim systems, he for some reason always wants to get a winger and put them at wing back. In my system, that's why I would have put Ahmad there. Um, what Mbwemo brings to me is the versatility because I do not know if you all know, but Mbwemo has played at least Thomas Frank actually was trusting him to play at wing back at a point in time. Like even if he started or he ended up switching based on whatever system he played, putting him there. So I think the versatility in if I want to make them switch, I can make them switch. Um, you have a couple different options there in having Mbwemo playing right wing. I also believe Mbwemo is very a dangerous player. We all know goals and assists is kind of what we kind of lean towards in today's modern football. But I believe Mbamo is one of those players that you always find, even though he might score, he might not assist, he's always dangerous. And I feel like we need players like that who kind of elevate the team in that manner because if Garnacho is in the team, if he score, if he assists, that's kind of usually the only contribution is you can't really pick out games where, hey, Garnacho is real good today, but it doesn't surround him scoring or him assisting. I think Mbemo is the kind of player, even though, yes, he had his best career, this is his best season stats wise this year. I think he's very dangerous all the time, and I think he averages around 8-9 goals since he come into the Premier League. So I personally think Mbeumo would be and this is something that I kind of stress. It might seem kind of pathetic, but proven players. Manchester United has, as Patrick was saying, punted on players external to the league, and they've come and they have not known how to manage the Premier League. I think we know how Mbemo is, and just putting him there with the versatility of Ahmad, him switching, I think that would be a great option for the right hand side of our Manchester United team.
Fair
I
enough.
hear it.
The coincidental thing is that we've all picked players for this position that are in the league already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm-
was cool.
And I also think like something like subconsciously we all are thinking of is like United also need to hit the ground running with a lot of this, because
They don't have time.
they don't have time, and as much as for the greater good they should be relegated, our club of United stature should not be in 16th, So let's get the voting. So who did I
Okay.
not start with? I did not start with Patrick. Patrick, go first, bro.
Yeah, if I, honestly, and it's gonna sound weird, if I'm not voting for myself, this is a tapping for me, and it has to be Kudus. It's from the moment I heard it, I was like, I was
Right.
disappointed in
So
myself for not putting him shortlist.
that's one for Kudus. Brandon.
This is solely because I've been the biggest proponent of this for a little while now. I will take Kulusevski as well. That's for me.
I like that. Okay.
I think he would cook at United more than Arsenal. I know some people want him at Arsenal, but he would cook more at United.
I will go next. And I would say Bowen.
I like it.
Tiebreaker the kill.
It's not who you want. It's who
This
you
is
pick.
my I'll put my cash up in the chat and depending on honestly of the options, I really like Bowen. It's just the consistency. Manchester United need consistency right now.
The
And I
kill.
think
One thing I wanted to say that I didn't say before is that like I did not have this
Oh, listen to
trend.
this shit.
I did not have this trend in my picks, but it's something I have been thinking about is that United at their core are at their best when they do have a strong English core. And that's part of why too
Okay.
that I did go with Bowen just now too. It's because
fair.
like United don't have that right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought
I
he was
mean,
coming back to
I
say
mean,
like, wait. Kulusevski should really, you should change your mind.
good. I mean, that's fair. I don't think we've ever been good having more excellent players than otherwise. So
And
we
we've
have
heard
no
about the
proof. We
class
have
of
no proof.
92 long enough, or 94,
We
whatever it
have.
is. We've heard them enough.
That's funny. That's what 92 is so far. So
Long
far
may
now.
say so.
Did
So far now.
Bowen play
But
right wing?
no matter which one of these signs we choose, in 26, 27, they will cook in the championship, though. Trust and believe, though. They'll cook it.
Bro,
Don't worry.
imagine United going on to the championship and playing and win the Champions League now. First team ever, bro.
Hey, I kid you not, United will go into the championship. As of how we play right now, United will go into the championship and scrape into the playoff. We're not going to win the league.
Damn. Imagine.
Choose somebody, Nicky. Who you choosing?
Boy,
Nice. So,
I choose
you know
Bowen.
what that means, guys?
It's expensive.
We've
one,
had
though.
4 positions.
I'm
We all
saying,
win.
bro, we don't have the
Each-
money. Let me go
Each
back again.
person get one in it. So Patrick get Bowen, I get Douglas Luiz. Gyökeres was
Mine.
Nikhil, and Unai Simon
Simon.
was Brandon.
Yeah.
So our window before the punt is Unai Simon,
Yeah.
Gyökeres, Douglas Luiz, and Bowen. That is what 250 million, guys. Actually, I don't think it's that much, but it will be costly. I do think you're looking at about 180 there at the
Bro,
very
that's
least.
what
I
I'm
still best case
saying, bro.
scenario.
Nah, but
Mm.
they're selling players too, right? Like they had to have a
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah, and that's what, yeah, that part of the picks that I would have selected is under with the understanding that we selling men.
All right, guys. So
Yeah.
lastly, wow, this episode, I feel like I'll probably upload the United thing completely separate. Then I feel like that's the best thing.
Yeah.
Last thing would be the punt. So this is any player that you think you could sign for under 20 million. I can guarantee you, none of y'all know who I choose. So
Okay.
there is going to be a repeat there, but that also means I don't feel like going to vote for me. But that's okay. What will go you first, by Patrick?
Yeah. I'll say none of y'all know who I choose.
Hold on,
as well.
before
Yeah,
Daniel
say a
answers,
position,
before
eh?
Daniel answers, it has to be within the 4 positions, right?
No. It's any position, you know. It's like
Oh,
it's any position at all.
I thought it was
outside
with
the
the 4
4.
positions. My bad.
Well, I'll let you go last to see if we can
Okay.
jiggle the brain.
I think I'll
Right,
still
so-
stick with what I'm going to say anyway. So
Nice.
Okay. Pats.
What you want me to just say the position? That's what you said?
No, say the position and then say who the players. Unless you kind of
Okay.
understood if you say the player.
Position that I think, that we didn't address yet, that I think is really, really important as well. Maybe some might not agree. It's got to be left wing back, because there's not a left wing back at United right now that is remotely capable of what Amarim is asking them to do. Okay, so Amarim typically likes wingers, as Nikhil said, at wing back. He likes to go with inverted wing backs. Well, that hold the width is very weird. It's a very unique system. But you're looking for a guy that's right-footed, that has experience playing left wing back in a 3-4-3 system. Where in the world will you even find that? And this is a guy that Transfermarkt has listed at 6 million. And I think he should be way higher for the contributions of this season. Champions League quality. Me personally, he was in my Champions League fantasy for almost the entire thing until they got knocked out. Davide Zappacosta, guys. I think he's the man. If you watch him play, anyway, we'll talk about it after. But like stylistically, guys, this guy, like, he actually creates a hell of a lot of chances all the time. And he's a unicorn. Right-footed, left wing back, plays in the same system. Anyway, we'll talk about it after. Yeah, him. That's what I wanted.
The kill. You have yours or you want me to do?
Yes, Finn.
Oh, you don't
Yes,
have it?
Finn.
Okay.
Finn.
My own is the position I went on a punt on is centre back, actually, because they're gonna have more of that with the back three. And I again talking about that before. I said that United also needs to have this English core, right? So I went for a 22-year-old English centre back who originally was from Leeds, did play for Leeds, and was sent out to Toulouse this season, and had a really good campaign with Toulouse in their first season back in the first division. And his name is Charlie Cresswell. He plays the centre back in our back three. Like I said, English. He's 22 years old, and yeah, when it comes time to argue it, I'll try and make my points. But I was looking for somebody younger to go in the back line for also that Euro is young, he would also be young. And as they look to phase out Maguire's, the Litz, those kind of players, that they would have a younger core to have
Damn,
put
bro.
together.
Feels
And
like
Lindelof. Oh, he's dog shit, so he had to go. So even the kill hate that man in it. Even if you wouldn't say it now, I know the kill absolutely hate that man in it.
I would say it.
You see? So yeah, cool. Brandon.
Did you all know that Messi is out of contract at the end of the season? I didn't know. Did you all know that?
I might have.
My gosh.
Do you all know Neymar is out of
Funny.
contract at the end of the season?
So you're making 2 punts, Messi and Neymar.
Nah. I just thought it was interesting. I was looking through it. Just to see if
Oh,
I didn't I missed it.
the fella I had, he was valued on transfer market for 7 million. Just 1 million more than Patrick Wood. But yeah,
Well, we're working with 20, so I mean,
yeah,
So-
yeah.
so
We
my-
can get with
my-
two.
Yeah. My pick is actually I actually don't know if this will be less than 20, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Because I feel like you could get below 20 just because of the circumstances.
Okay.
I think Ramsdale is a great punt for United. I think
Fair.
as he went down
I
with
cannot
Southampton,
believe you saying that. I
I think that'd be a
absolutely
great-
cannot believe that.
I think that'd be a
Okay.
great under 20 mil for United. I feel like,
He
like
will-
you know, like we talking about breaking the bank for a keeper already. But at the same time, I feel like United also need like I don't think their backup keeper is very good either. So I feel like they're looking for something more. To get allergic to what I'll say yes.
No, it's too funny. It is absolutely
Yeah,
too
maybe
funny.
it's
That's what it is.
Yeah. No,
Actually, you know
but,
what? I fully back it. You know why? No, that man get relegated 3 times. Let me
No, he will
Then
send them
four
down.
times.
Yeah. He will send them down.
no, I truly believe that United don't have even though we talk about Onana, they also don't have a good backup keeper. I think Ramsdale would be a good stopgap if they can't get a keeper this year, and just to phase him into going into second after. But yeah, I think that'd be a good interesting idea to try and explore.
Fair enough. I consider my interest peaked. That was good. The kill.
Ryan gonna lie to you. I know I understand the players what you're calling, but I can't think of a player that United could get for under 20 million that is going to be good. That's how bad we are. If that makes sense. No player that we need to target is going to
But
be
yeah,
under
well,
20 million because we need better
anybody-
players. That being
Is
said,
it? Okay, go ahead. Mhm.
nah, that was it. That being said, I think one of the positions that we need to address is centre back. And I fully believe that what do you think I was gonna say?
Oh, I know you probably didn't know how I was talking about it, but you don't lead into center back. So you added to my argument already.
Nah, definitely. I think that we need to go and get
Howard Bellis, whatever his name is. Southampton.
no.
You would probably get him for under 20 million to be fair. And I Roy
Relegation
Keane's
makes
son-in-law.
Howard Bellis is Roy Keane's son-in-law. How did that
Son-in-law,
happen?
yeah. I don't know.
I forget the player I was
Thank you.
gonna say. Just now. I forget his name. I really
Daughter.
I couldn't think of somebody.
How he take that
No.
one, right? Okay, Roy Keane. Oh,
They
wow.
asked me that in during punditry tweet about it, innit?
Oh,
Because
yeah?
Howard Bellis was going to make his England debut. They had some
Somebody
kind of
pull up,
throwaway.
John, pull up a picture of Hardwood Bellis there and just put him up there. So this is for the guys that don't know.
Sure, no
Pull up
problem.
a picture. I'm glad we have this tool now.
So,
It's
for all those,
how the key punt just lost in translation right now.
Bro, and because I can't think of somebody But I
For
definitely go
all those
centre
who
back
may be
anything.
wondering how Roy Keane's son-in-law looks, this is him.
There we go.
Just relegated with Southampton, freshly ready to play tonight.
Yes, freshly ready is crazy.
I mean, I know how you take that
I
one.
think that's
I know
somebody
Keane is a
good.
man. Gonna be very upset that his son-in-law has been relegated.
Anything to kill. How about this to kill? Why don't choose somebody from one of the relegation clubs then? That you feel
That's
could have
but no,
something.
the thing is, right? That is exactly where I was thinking. But I'm going through them and all of them are bad.
Ah,
Except probably the lap. And that is not under 20 million.
And that's not
right.
under something.
So
That's
back
literally
to
where I was going. Because in my
David Needs
head,
a
United need
Batista.
to stay home. Stay home. That United need to stay home as much as possible.
Yeah.
Stay
Okay,
home. You see
okay.
why? That's why I went Emmy. That's why I
I
went
bet.
Watson. That's why I went Mbemu. Stay home.
What about that fella Christian's son from Leicester? He's a left back, I think. Like he could be good for the system, I think.
Oh, you know what player I really like? I find a player. I find a player.
NDD.
It's not a centre back, but I think that Patrick Point very good for United.
There we go.
Rico
Switch.
Henry, left
Switch
back,
over.
left wing back.
Bono.
Rico
Okay.
Bono.
Henry. Rico
There we
Henry
go.
should be under 20 million and is a very good option because Dorgu, he has potential, but he's not there yet. He definitely not there yet.
Bro,
I
I
think
don't want to say this and they come and bite me because you know what's one of these signs that we do reach fellas? That we make it in our TikTok edit in it. Where people hold what we say and then play it in our edit to make we look bad. But like don't go let's play like he brainless sometimes, isn't it? Like honestly,
Okay.
like he has no awareness of what's going on around him, and I don't understand that to the at
Yeah.
all.
oh, but you see, the thing is, sometimes I doesn't blame United players, young United players, when you put them into a terrible team. Some men they will look good if the team itself was good. So if everybody was doing what they're supposed to do, Durgu might look much better because sometimes you'll be swinging crosses and it's be like, yo, we have something in him. It's just everything else.
Um
Hmm.
cool. All right, so that's the
Rico Henry.
who did this Rico Henry. Right. So Henry's the last one we have there. So we have three Englishmen, two left wing back, a keeper and a centre back. So we all acknowledging that United need to do even more on the defensive front.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, I am fully aware that you all might not know who it is I'm talking about, but like I said, he was with Leeds. I'm not sure if they still own him, but he did play for. And I purposely pulled somebody who plays in a back centre back three. 'Cause that is where he plays for Toulouse. He plays in the centre of the back three. And the only stat that he really looks bad on, which is that his 82 passing accuracy compared to 91.9. And it's because Toulouse, as a whole, are very bad at retaining the ball.
Mm.
Mm.
He is, and I do think that's more a product of the system. But he on his own has been like the stand out amongst their defense. And has
But
come out
dog,
of the season with other credit.
you see the most
I don't
glaring
mind that,
start right there, the fifth, like the
like
15.
passing being that low, especially as the central centre back. I don't mind that because it's supposed to have other players that should be able to mitigate. Now, understandably, United is not in a position to fully say that, but if you understand what I'm saying, in ideally you have multiple players who can do multiple things. So as it turns out in the back, I don't really mind a player being that low.
No, and the thing is, right, when you compare a Serbi who's played for a table topping quality side, and he played for the side that finished just above the relegation spot, like you
Mhm.
don't expect the pressure to be the same, but both will play in the centre back of our back three, so I thought it was a decent comparison to have
Mhm.
with somebody who is an apt centre back in our back three, right?
Yes.
So, and again, I was looking, I did went searching for under 23 English players. Because again, I think that United English, a lot of the recent transfers has not been that now. And at their core, schools, Rio, whatever you want it to be, a lot of Englishmen involved. So, yeah. Um, feel free. Anybody else want to say what they want to say for their players? Ramsdale, I like to tell him, like, Brandon, you kill him on that one. Aye. The next, let me tell you something, Brandon. I can be very petty, boy. And you see, the next time I hear you say the name of baby Allison or whatever, I'm going to pull a clip from this episode and put it out now.
But bro, don't
I
you
have a
think he's better than
question.
Don't you think he's better than Onana?
I have a question for you.
Brother,
Well,
you want to ask if I think he better than Raya, right? Because we all
Yeah,
know
but
I
Raya,
don't like that man.
Raya have the most clean sheets in the league, bro.
For 2 seasons I ruined it. For two
Yeah.
seasons I ruined it.
that's crazy. Only thing Zabani would be more than 20 million.
Yeah.
Yes. If he's selling to you,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then
And
yeah, because
besides,
I'd go Zabani
and
if I
because the
had the
other thing too
chance.
is that Bournemouth probably expecting that to sell a good retirement already as is. But
Yeah.
Hoyson just gone.
Yeah,
Kudus highly expected to
Yeah.
go Semenyo
Clive
too.
could be gone.
but
I
Zabani,
even think Evan Nielsen is one to watch as well because
True,
he
yeah.
just had the injury. I think he's been really impressive.
how
True.
expensive is Murillo?
He'd probably be very expensive. They win the Champions
Yeah.
League, probably very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
He wouldn't
see, I
leave.
tell you,
I don't
nobody
think
we
he would
could get
leave.
on a 20 million.
I don't think he would leave.
Bro, Messi contract finishing, bro. Like free.
Messi
Yeah.
cannot play
Hey,
with Maguire in a back three.
I really didn't think
Hey,
about going
he's
down
the
the
greatest
free
player
agent
of all
route
time, no,
today.
bro.
I didn't
Put
think about the
Messi
free agent route today. That
put
is a
Messi
good
at
one to
number
think
10
about
and
for
let
future
him
ones.
cook. Just put him at number 10 and let him cook.
But
It's easy.
I mean, we might be able to see him doing that whole night in Sunderland, right? Next season. That is a possibility. So.
Correct.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. If anybody know anything they want to say, I understand the left wing back shouts, though. I do. I just think, like, from my perspective, United have to find a solution with the players they have there. Just because the one player that one position they invest in on the Amarillo is left wing back. And so they probably had to try and make it
No,
with
no,
him.
No.
mind you, right? I have no problem with Dorgu long term. I genuinely do think he has potential. And I think once Dalo start back using his brain, he'd be a good option to play there. Um, Dalo just turn his switch off sometimes, so the lights will be there. I genuinely think that is not something that we need to like attack right now. A centre back, we need a centre back.
But then you gotta spend your money, right? Because you're probably not going to get a centre back under 20
7
mil.
mil.
Yeah, I have
Whereas
no money. I have no money.
And I gotta tell you,
It's
this
so
thing,
Bro.
yeah,
sad.
bro, I ain't like to tell you, this is literally the kind of event we're coming up to here. You know. If they win the Champions League, if they don't, you know. Because the
You mean
money, if they win
Europa?
the Champions League,
That is
sorry, if they win
literally
Europa
it,
League, you
bro.
know, the money if they win Europa versus if they don't,
I
I
kid
want to
you
be building
not.
$100 billion stadium.
John, hear
Bro.
this right. Hear this right. If they don't win the Europa on Wednesday, you cannot drop this video. We had to re-record it because the whole expectation is totally
basically,
different.
Bro, I kid you not. I am
basically.
literally seeing, like, you know how you said the angel and the devil on his shoulder? I am seeing Champions League Eucharist and then no Champions League, the lap. I'm seeing it. I seen it clear as day,
That's
bro.
real
I'm
root
Bro,
to the lap,
seeing
though.
it
bro,
clear
bro,
as day.
bro.
Bro,
Bro. It's not no Champions League. The Lapino, bro. There's no way you're gonna get to know. You're gonna get
It's
tied.
no Champions
No, bro.
League.
That way you're gonna get.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
That's why I
That's
can't.
how you looking at.
Bro.
to me,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest, that's the same thing. That's the same thing.
You real rude though. But this is the
That's
same
the
man who
The lap
say
is a
that
growth. Oh, no,
this is
I've
the
been
shut
okay.
up. This is
I've
the
been,
same man who say that Cunha not good enough for United. Eh? This is
I
the
don't read,
same man who say that.
I don't read, I don't read Cunha at all. I don't see.
He'd be expensive though.
He
That
is.
one, I don't understand it. I don't understand
United can't
Cunha
afford
shots.
Cunha. Nah,
I
Cunha's
don't
good,
understand
boy.
it at all.
Cunha good,
Especially
boy.
Alright, guys.
before Champions League figured out, but
Alright, guys. I need to get some votes in because it's time for me to go to bed. It's 12:30. Like, are we?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
it's 11, bro.
11:30. Sorry, that's actually what I meant to say. All right, cool. So, sorry, the kid go first,
Yes,
bro. Who you voting
bro,
for?
bro. Hold on. You just experienced daylight savings. Like you as a person.
Gotta be.
The kid go
Um,
first. Who would you like to vote?
um, please remind me of the option.
Cresswell. Oh, the other
Cresswell,
ones too. Cresswell,
Ramsdale,
Ramsdale,
Zappacosta.
Zappacosta. Well, you
Oh,
can vote for
well,
yourself.
yeah, I can't vote for myself. purely because I definitely believe in it. Cresswell, you need a centre back, bro. Need a
Dang,
centre back.
bro. Brandon.
I would like another player to join the Chelsea United played for both teams. So
Hey!
wait, who
Ugh.
did you say? Who did you say, Nikhil? Sorry.
Rico Henry.
Henry.
Actually, I like Henry more than Gonzalo Costa. I might take Henry instead.
Say good Henry.
I'll take Henry. I'll
Okay.
take Henry. I'll take Henry.
And I, because let me make it 4 relegations in a row. For that alone, I for Aaron Ramsdale.
4 allegations is crazy.
Dog, I made it right, dog. I really feel similar because imagine how that man's psyche is, isn't it? Because 3 relegations on your CV is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so
With 3
you're
different
doing
clubs, it's even like it's the same club. He's the only player to get relegated with 3 different clubs.
you're doing something wrong. Your decision making is bad.
The decision making is
Your
wrong.
decision making is terrible.
And we not just talk about in the box. We talk about in the
No,
boardroom.
your decision. You need to sack your whole team.
And what
because he might be the best number 2, we'll have to go with. Oh, okay, what do you call I'll go in. I'll go with Ramsdale as well. Yes,
Nah, we got to 2 for us, deal.
Yes.
Dog!
Because I don't even know who
Put this
Cresswell
out.
is, and
We go
Rico
in.
Henry is left-footed.
We going to put this out. And I got how old I saw and Ramsdale next
Yeah.
to each other.
Bro, that
Yeah,
is what you would refer to as where's called where's called thing opportunity cost. That's what it's called, opportunity cost.
Facts.
That's
Wow.
opportunity
Alright,
I
guys.
cost.
like it.
So, just to summarize, this was good. This was a real good first one. This is truly a good first
Imagine
one.
we have
Guys,
to do team of the season still now. Imagine
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is real
boy.
heights.
all right. So,
Ooh, I will agenda.
in goal, we have Unai Simon. In midfield, Douglas Luiz. In strike, we have Gyökeres. On the wing, we have Bowen. And our punt signing was Aaron Ramsdale. That is quarter flag talks suggested window to Manchester United.
We about
This
to go
has
0
been-
for 5, bro. We about to
We are
go
about to
0
go
for
0.
5.
All right, let me ask you this. Out of those 5, was the most likely signing I think it have been? Purely out of laziness, I would say Gyökeres.
I actually
Same
think
one.
Louise is the easiest of those,
I think
No, but
that
most
is the
likely.
easiest. Yeah. I think most likely, though, just because same manager, same system,
Yeah,
he seemed very
Gyökeres, yeah.
desperate to want to move on thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to extend the conversation too long. I know we're trying to close, but what is easy?
Like, the most likely then, which one do you think is most likely to happen? I think Louise is the easiest from the point of view of, like, I can see a scenario where, like, them just loan him. Yeah, probably I'll pay some loan fee or whatever, but they just loan him. That's because they want to get him out and he just wants a year to get his season back on. Because remember, we're going into a World Cup year, you know? So men want to play. And for some men, the level may not matter if they wasn't playing all the time before. They just want to play.
Right.
But the most likely one to me, I think, is
It's probably your crash. Everybody know you're gonna leave. Everybody know the price. Everybody know who in film. Probably your crash.
Cool. With that being said, guys, I want to say that is it. From the end to this episode, I will split this up into 2. I definitely will. I feel like we had no choice. But I think this was really good for the first one. Please, if you all made it this far, let us know who you think we should do next. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for making it time. Catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy. Later.